Fran Drescher has spent decades being synonymous with the nasal laugh, the bold fashion, and the unapologetic heart of the nanny, but even longtime fans may not realize just how personal the hit sitcom really was. In a recent reflection on the show's origins, Drescher revealed that the spark behind one of television's most iconic characters came from a real-life experience involving the daughter of one of her famous friends. According to Drescher, the idea for the nanny didn't come from a writer's room brainstorm or a studio mandate. Instead, it was born out of an unexpected moment that perfectly captured the culture clash, humor, and warmth that would later define Fran Fine. At the time, Drescher found herself spending time with a well-known friend whose life looked nothing like her own, polished, privileged, and worlds away from her Queens upbringing. During one visit, Drescher was asked to help look after her friend's daughter, a seemingly simple request that quickly turned into a lightbulb moment. Dropped into an environment of wealth, formality, and strict social expectations, Drescher immediately felt the contrast between her loud, affectionate, no-filter personality and the refined world around her. Rather than feeling out of place in a negative way, she leaned into the absurdity of it, and noticed how her presence actually softened the atmosphere. The humor came naturally, Drescher has explained. I wasn't trying to be funny, I was just being myself. And that's when I realized how comedy can come from contrast, but also how love and honesty cut through any social divide. That interaction stayed with her. The image of a working-class woman suddenly responsible for a child in a high-society setting planted the seed for what would eventually become the nanny. The heart of the show, a woman who doesn't quite belong on paper, but absolutely belongs in spirit, was lifted straight from that experience. When Drescher later teamed up with her creative partner Peter Mark Jacobson, the concept crystallized. They imagined a character much like Drescher herself, bold, emotionally intelligent, deeply caring, and completely unashamed of where she came from. Placing that character inside an elegant Manhattan townhouse, surrounded by refined accents and rigid routines, created the perfect comedic tension. What made the story resonate wasn't just the laughs, but the emotional truth behind it. Drescher has often emphasized that the nanny worked because it never mocked class differences, it humanized them. Fran Fine didn't succeed because she changed herself to fit into a wealthy world, she succeeded because she changed the world around her by being authentic, loving, and fearless. The real-life inspiration involving her friend's daughter also influenced how Drescher approached the show's family dynamics. Watching how children respond to warmth, attention, and sincerity, regardless of how much money or structure surrounds them, reinforced her belief that emotional intelligence matters more than etiquette. That philosophy became central to Fran Fine's relationship with the children on the show, and later, with the entire Sheffield household. Looking back, Drescher sees the moment as a reminder of why storytelling matters. Comedy is most powerful when it's rooted in truth, she has said. The best ideas don't come from trying to be clever, they come from paying attention to life. More than 30 years after The Nanny premiered, its legacy continues to grow. New generations discover the show through streaming, fashion retrospectives celebrate Fran Fine's iconic wardrobe, and audiences still connect with its message of self-acceptance and kindness. Knowing that it all began with a simple, real-life interaction only makes its success feel more earned, and more intimate. For Drescher, the revelation isn't about nostalgia, it's about gratitude. That brief experience with a friend's child gave her a lens through which she could tell a bigger story, one about class, confidence, and compassion. And in doing so, she created a character who didn't just make people laugh, but made them feel seen.